my name is Netta. Today I'm here with LGM to do a health and wellness activity. Hope you're all doing well and that you like this game. For the game, you're going to need a piece of paper, two different colored writing utensils. So you can either have different colored markers or different colored pencil crayons, or you could have a pencil and a blue pen, for example, just anything so you can tell the difference between one player and another. So this is a two-player game that you can hopefully play with someone else that you're looking with. And after that, so the paper and your two writing utensils, you should be ready to go. So I'm just going to share my screen so I can show you how this is going to work. Okay, nice. So the game is called Dots and Skittles, and the first thing we're going to do to start is we are going to, oh, sorry, I've got some things popping up. Okay, we are going to first draw out sort of a board game layout or our game layout for the game Dots. And you may already know this game or may know some variation of it, but here's how it's going to go. So we're going to draw a grid of dots. So you can either do something like this. So I've made my grid that big, but you could totally make it bigger and, you know, fill in dots all around and just keep going like this and just make it bigger and bigger. And the bigger you make it, the longer the game goes for. So that can also be something you consider depending on how much time you have to play the game, or maybe you may play a shorter game and then decide you want to do a bigger and longer game. So you can totally adapt this to do that. So this will be my grid, and then you need to choose what player one is going to be. So let's say so the color blue is going to be player one, and let's say purple is going to be player two. And the way this is going to go is, let's say player one starts, they just draw a line anywhere connecting two dots, and then player two goes. They can be horizontal or vertical lines, and you just keep alternating. And once you get a square, so let's say player one was able to connect all four dots into a square or rectangle, depending on how well you spaced out your dots, they will then put their name, or in this case, player one. It's kind of hard to read. So player one is there. They've claimed that square. Now, usually, or what you want to try to do as player two is to block that. So let's say maybe before this happened, player two was able to come in and block it, then obviously that doesn't count and player one doesn't get that point. So that's kind of how you want to play the game. And obviously, as this grid gets covered in lines and you're trying to trick each other, it can get hard to keep track of all the squares. So eventually some of you guys are going to start to get squares and get the points. And that's why maybe the bigger grid or the larger the grid is, the more fun or challenging the game can be. So that's also something to think about. And let's go back to the situation where player one filled in their box. So player one claims this. You can write your name or make nicknames for yourselves as well. That can be fun. And once the square is filled, so once player one gets a point, or once player two gets a point, once anyone gets a square, what you're going to do is you're going to now think about Skittles. And this is where the Skittles part comes in. So when we have a pack of Skittles, we have different colors, right? So there are red Skittles, there are yellow Skittles, there's also green Skittles. What else? There's also, I think, some kind of purple maybe, and also orange. Feel free to make up different colors, or if you like or if you know about different colored Skittles, feel free to add them in, and you can change the game based on that. So I'll tell you how these Skittles are going to come into play. Once someone gets a square or connects 4 dots, what each player is going to do is write down a color Skittle. Okay, so you can even make up questions. So you can say which color is your favorite, or which one is your least favorite, or which one did you last have, or which color is the most recent Skittle that you've had. You can make up a whole bunch of questions, and then you can add a bunch of colors to this to make it more different, and so that you can select different ones each time. And then once people write down the color, or they think about the color, so let's say the question was, what's your favorite colored Skittle? And mine is red. So I'll think about red in my mind, and then I'll tell my partner player what I wrote down. So I'll say I put down red. Let's say my partner also put down red. So if they say the same color, then you are both going to share with each other what makes you happy. If you say different colors, you are going to talk about what makes you sad. And even though sometimes it can be hard to talk about what makes us sad, sometimes it's really good to talk about so that you can be aware of the things that make you sad in situations where you may need to think about how to react, or how you want to maybe avoid certain situations if you know they're going to make you sad. Or you may want to think about how you can better handle certain situations if you know they're going to bring up those sort of sad emotions in yourself. And these are sometimes good things to think about, and it can be really nice to talk about them with other people that you're close with and that you trust, because they can kind of help you navigate those things. So sharing these things can be a really opening experience for people. If you're not comfortable with sharing that and you don't want to talk about what makes you sad, you can think about other things. So you can say maybe what makes you upset, or you can think about what makes you bored, things like that. So you can totally change the question if you're not comfortable. I just think this is a cool thing to talk about, and we're still going to talk about what makes us happy as well. So there's a lot of room for the more positive parts of the game. Now, same, different. So different would be if I chose red for a certain round and then my partner chose something like orange. So those would be different, and therefore we would talk about what makes us sad in my version of the game. The last combination that I want to talk about is if you choose something similar. Oop, that's not how you spell similar. Similar. Then you're going to talk about what makes you laugh. How do I do laugh? Like a crying, like maybe tears because you're laughing and crying and smiling. Sometimes I do that when I'm laughing a lot. So similar color combinations are going to be like if someone chooses orange and the other person chooses yellow, or if someone chooses purple and the other person chooses red. These are our similar combinations, and I just kind of made those up. If you want to make up your own color combinations for what's similar, or you want to change that category, you totally can. That's what this game is for. It's for you to make it your own, and that's what I think makes it really fun too. And that's basically what you do. So you'll figure out whether you chose same, different, or similar colors. Then you'll talk about the things that are associated with each combination. So whether it's what makes you happy, or what makes you sad, or what makes you laugh, and then you'll keep playing the game. And every time 4 dots are filled, then you'll do this all over again. So just to kind of clarify something, when we talk about those Skittles, right? So how do we choose the color to figure out whether it's the same, different, or similar? The suggestions I gave were you guys could ask questions like, what is your favorite color? Which one's your least favorite? Which one did you most recently have? But eventually you're going to run out of questions. So after that, you can just sort of think of a random one and write it down and see whether you guys think of similar or different ones. Or you can just make up more questions related to the Skittles. So you can think of maybe which color Skittle is the same as the most clothes you have. So I know I have a lot of green colored clothing. I'm wearing a green t-shirt right now, so I would choose green. So you can make up definitely more questions, and if you run out of them, again, you can go back to just thinking of a random color and writing it down. And then talk about, those feelings of being happy, sad, what makes you laugh. Again, there's so many more. What makes you bored? What makes you excited? What makes you hopeful? What are you scared of? Things like that are really important to have a healthy mindset because it makes you just more aware of yourself and how you're feeling and what kinds of emotions you have in certain situations. And I really like doing that with my friends and my family. So hopefully this is something that you guys enjoy with this game. And yeah, have fun with it and enjoy. Bye.